x nu, gamma mu nu, plus higher order terms. And this is a gamma mu nu that will depend on x. Again, since I haven't talked about vertex operator, but now if we do the Fourier transform of this, so let me go to a gamma mu nu that depends on, or let's say, let me. Okay, yeah, I can. So let me do the Fourier transform, saying that gamma mu nu of x is a integral, and let me call it e mu nu e to the I kx dk. So I do the Fourier transform. So what I have here is, delta x mu, delta x nu, e mu nu e to the I kx. Well, yeah, and if we go to complex coordinates and take take sigma plus and sigma minus, or C and C bar, then what you get here is, so this would be, this is H alpha beta or H C C bar, so what you have is this, delta x mu del bar x nu, e mu nu into the I k x. And I haven't explained vertex operators, but for those who know vertex operators, this is precisely the vertex operator. So there is this state operator correspondence. So to every state of the string, there's an operator that corresponds. So it's an operator in conformal field theory called the vertex operator. And this is precisely the vertex operator. Okay, I could say more about this, but the vertex operator of the graviton. So it looks precisely like this vector operator. It's delta x mu del bar x nu e to the I kx, symmetric, so e mu nu e to the I kx. So, okay, if you don't know about vertex operator, I mean, you can read about vertex operators. Let me not say much more, and you believe me. So what you see here is that in this expansion, so I have around flat space, what I have is the action, so the path integral corresponding to the action of flat space, plus the insertion of a graviton, plus the insertion, so the second order will be like the insertion of two gravitons, etc. So you can see a curve metric as a coherent state of graviton. So I'm inserting 1, 2, 3. So that's a way to understand that this metric. So okay, we said, I mean, many people ask this. So I have the gravitons source metric. So this is the way you can see it. So this path integral or partition function, if you integrate over the x and the h's that I haven't talked about, but so you can see this so curve background. So as a sum of as a sum or coherent state, if you of gravitons. So you're inserting, so it's an infinite sum where you insert 1 graviton, 2 gravitons, 3 gravitons, and that's the way to see that these gravitons source this curve metric. Yes. Yeah, so I'm going to say a couple more things, and then I guess tomorrow we'll get to that. Yeah. Yeah, so he's, well, I'll say that tomorrow. Okay, now what about, so this is the Polyakov action in a background metric. If we have a B field, then I could, in principle, do something similar and put here B mu nu. But if I put B mu nu here, B mu nu is antisymmetric in mu and nu, while this is symmetric, so that's going to give 0. But the way to do this is instead of H alpha beta, I can put epsilon alpha beta. Since we're in 2 dimensions, then there is an epsilon alpha beta. So it's just so it's the only epsilon 0, 1 is equal to 1, epsilon minus 1, 0 is equal to, epsilon 1, 0 is equal to minus 1. So the way the Polyakov action for particles in a, let me erase this. So the Polyakov action in the presence of metric and B field, so there's always this minus T over 2, integral D to sigma, and then you have square root of minus H alpha beta, G mu nu, plus epsilon alpha beta, B mu nu, times d alpha x mu, d beta x mu. Sorry, G mu nu can. Yeah, so put something that is has no particular symmetry and put this together. Yeah, good. Why this is a plus and not something else? Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good. This comes to something I'm going to say and probably tomorrow. So how do we understand this action? So this is... Yeah. So the fact that this is a plus is because the strings, so having this action here means that the strings are the source of this B field. And we'll see that. As somebody asked about what is the source of the gauge field, and those are the endpoints of the string. The string is a source for this B field, and you can see this action precisely as that coupling. And the charge is the same as the mass. So strings are what's called BPS objects, and you will see that in Waldram's lectures, that have mass equals to charge. those are very particular objects that satisfy a nice supersymmetry algebra. So I haven't talked about supersymmetry, but this will come also in supersymmetry. But the way to see this is, so the fact that, so strings, they have a mass and they attract. So the gravitational force is always attractive. And they are also charged under this B field, and that's they have the same charge, and that's repulsive. And the fact that the mass is equal to the charge makes that string can live together happily. They don't either attract or repulse. If this wasn't the one, then they would they wouldn't how do you say repulse? No, they will repel. Yeah, thanks. They will repel more than they would attract. So you wouldn't have these strings living happily together. So this has to be precisely a one, and come with the same thing. Yes. Yeah, very good. So that's coming. So so how do I couple the scalar, the dilaton? So one could think of coupling the dilaton as, so don't write this. I could think of doing this, for example, in my action. This looks nice and covariant, and it is nice and covariant, except that this is not while invariant. And I want to have, I mean, while invariance is something basic here. So this transforms on the while transformation, but while the dilaton doesn't. So this is not while invariant. So this is not a good coupling. And it turns out that the while invariant coupling is putting here this Ricci tensor. So if you do this under while transformations, this transforms with a factor e to the minus omega that cancels this factor here. So this is while invariant. So the way you couple, and now let me put the factors, which are also important, and they have to be fixed. And yeah, it's just an alpha prime. So so there's this minus t over 2 everywhere, d2 sigma, and now plus alpha prime. Yeah, just alpha prime, phi, and the curvature r of h. Sorry, and the square root of minus h, because here. So square root of minus h. So now this whole thing this is the coupling to the dilaton. And okay, so the first part of next class will be to connect this with what we said before. And also what I mumbled, that the charge, this is the strings are charged under this, so what does this mean? And yeah, so yeah, we need a little bit more next class before we start with the superstring. Okay, so I'll take from here next class. Any? Yeah, yeah. So for that, yeah, let me not write it now, but I'll write it tomorrow. Okay. All right.